welcome back to Farmstead here for week 9 of Minor League Esports. It has been already an action-packed night of action with our first game of tonight going an absolutely astronomical way in terms of goals scored and in quality of play. And now we're only stepping up the gas in terms of quality. We are moving on to the Champion League. I am your host for this evening, Fallen, and joining me once again is the still legendary and still amazing Navanta.
Man, thank you so much for having me on today's stream. I baled my hay, I had grandma's cobbler, and we're heading down to Farmstead for some Champion League action.
That's some brilliant quotes there, and I will never be able to repeat those because that joke is dead now. Moving on to the teams playing today, we have the Hive and the Eclipse as previously stated, and an incredibly difficult to call matchup here. You've got the Hive who've been on the surge of momentum in terms of their playstyle, but the Eclipse having all of that momentum from the beginning of the season. Tell us a bit about these two teams and the lineups they're using today.
Yeah, I hate to use puns because I absolutely detest them, but the Hive have been buzzing around the top 5 all season. They have been that good and making sure they can score in unique situations. But the Eclipse is no slouch. We were talking about this before our broadcast. They haven't quite been able to put things together in tandem in the field. But that aside, they are still ranked 12 out of 32 teams. They are very formidable, but they are going into a potential challenge against the Hive today because I gotta say, I'm favoring them. I think they are the stronger team when you have to compare each team right there.
Yeah, I'm also in the same boat. The Hive have looked so strong all season long, especially in this back end, and with the two players playing today in Ben and Andre, two players with kind of insane stats. Ben scoring at least 2 a game for the entirety of his 20 games played. The man is on fire right now offensively. There is very little defenses can do to keep him out, but considering how quickly he's able to transfer back onto his own defense and getting 1.6 saves per game, he has been an all-round player for this team, able to transfer his skills from forward to back almost consistently. And that also goes for his teammate, who's slightly more balanced across the board, a playmaker, a defender, an attacker. Andre is the real deal here.
That's all you need. We have someone like Ben who's already scoring above 5 in that so coveted MVPR ranking. You need someone to give you the service. You need someone to give you the space. And Andre can be that person to make sure Ben has a lane to score. And that could be the difference for the Hive today.
And then you have the Eclipse, a team that we've been struggling to see come to grips with their rank ups recently. Emor and Fraud playing today. Fraud with a lot to prove. He's the remaining 14-5 on this team, if I'm remembering correctly. He has everything to prove, and his teammate Emor has a lot to do to try and bring the Eclipse back to the former glories of having Big Papi and Salt on their Champion League team. As we get game number 1 underway, it's everything to play for here, and both teams looking to start off strong.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question for the Eclipse in this series. Can Emor and Fraud find a way to work together to penetrate the Hive's defense and put some goals on the board and essentially possibly win the series?
A good start so far for neither team. Bit cagey off the bat. Emor will get the touch over Ben maybe looking for a pass back, but that touch is a bit awry, and Fraud has been bumped away. That'll leave Andre with an open net, and the Hive will take the first goal here in this series.
And this is what we were saying about Andre, being able to be the guy to get out in front, to give Benjamin that space in case that shot didn't go in, but didn't need it. Right down Broad Street, 1-0 the Hive.
It's exactly what they needed to kick things off right. The Hive looking to continue this momentum they've been riding all the last few weeks. They have been looking nigh unstoppable. They ended up number 1 of the power rankings, and Andre's one of the reasons why, as he sends that one home to double the Hive's lead immediately.
I love the fact that Andre is there, sees Ben about to be a bit of a flash, but he's going to clean up the mess in case it wasn't on target. 2-0 the Hive.
Exactly what they needed to start this series off, the Eclipse. They looked like they had a bit of an opportunity to go forward, but immediately sort of fractured here. An opportunity maybe for Emor, but he can't get the shot on target. Pressured from both in front and behind by Ben and by Andre. And now the Hive coming forward again. They look almost untouchable going forward. Ben passing it to Andre. He'll find the back of the net for a 3rd time. He's got a hat-trick and almost inside a minute.
This goal here could have been avoided if you were a member of the Eclipse, but they were just outclassed there. Benedem to Andre in connection.
Yeah, it's just very little you can do on defense there. You're being outpaced, out-50'd, outmaneuvered, and then just the chemistry between Benedem and Andre is something to behold right now. An opportunity there for Fraud, almost found the back of the net, but Emor's touch again a bit lacking. Will tee up Andre, who'll look to try and drop this one down for Benedem. Will tee it away from the defender, but Benedem's shot is off the post and out, and will float into the corner. Fraud now looking to try and clear this one away. The Eclipse trying to stem the rot right now. They are trying to block the leak in the ship. They are going down like the Titanic, and Andre is sinking them harder than the iceberg. 4-0.
Less than 90 seconds elapsed, and Andre has 4 goals on the board. We're talking about having space for Benedem to score? Well, Andre's a threat himself. Good job.
I immediately regret saying that quote. It's sinking them harder than the Titanic. I went full Mario Ronaldo with that one. Andre looking maybe for another opportunity. Fraud will look to clear this one away. And for the first time in what feels like a minute, the Eclipse are in the Hive's half and looking offensively capable, immediately shut down by Andre on the side wall. Now, Fraud, still with possession of the ball, not with any boost to really work with. Both players rotating amongst each other. They're bumping each other away from the ball. Emor will challenge first, but will get beaten out by Andre, and now it's a 1v1 situation. Andre looking to center that one. That one's almost just rolled in, but Fraud is there to clear it away. Benedem immediately reads him, looking for the Doomsday. Doesn't even need it, or Emor will shove it in at his own near post. It's 5-0 Hive.
So if you're the Eclipse right now, you're starting to be a little scared, man. What do I have to do? This is when a goal in your favor. Make sure you can have that reinforcement. You know what's going on. When you're down 5-0 with so much time elapsed, you start to panic a little bit. You start going to your teammate going, what are we doing wrong? Why are we not getting our shots on frame?
This is what happens when two 14-5s who are at the top of their game, 14-5 of course being around that Champion 3 margin, the best of the best of Champion League, coming to play here today, especially on the Hive side of the field. With just over half the game gone, and it is 5-0 to the Hive. It has been an absolute slaughter on offense. The Eclipse finding no real opportunities, handing the ball to the Hive, who are just outpacing, out-50ing, outperforming right now. It has been an incredible game, game one, and Andre will look to make it 6. Good save from Fraud, in fact a good double save from Fraud to keep that one out. Trying to swing momentum in their favor, but it feels like they're only sort of stemming the tide. They're only holding it back for just a few more seconds before the Hive will find a 6th.
The Hive are like a tsunami on the beach, and I don't know how many sandbags you're going to put down if you're the Eclipse, but you have to come with a new idea, a new strategy, because you can't block forever. The Hive have proven they can find ways to score all over the pitch, but I guess a Castle's Curse makes sense to me too. The Eclipse get one on the board, 5-1. Still the Hive in control, but the Eclipse claw one back here.
If Andre does that to the other side of his net, Fraud doesn't score that goal. But he instead decided to wrap all the way around the ball to try and take it away from Fraud, and instead just teed it up on a silver platter. 5-1. The Eclipse get a goal here, a goal that they sort of need to reset their confidence. Fraud now with a demo onto Andre, but Benedem with a great recovery, immediately getting in front of that ball. Good 50 attempt there from Emor, just much better positioning there from Benedem to take that position away, take that ball, now going for a demo, just chasing on the defensive line, knowing that he can force them to take their time, allowing Andre to reset on defense. There's so much tactical play going out of every single movement that these Hive players are putting in right now. Every touch is calculated. It's not like they're hoofing the ball upfield. It's not like they're abandoning it to go for a demo. No, they're doing it for the sake of their teammates, for themselves, and to really just keep the Eclipse guessing as to what the intentions of this Hive roster is.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you keep your team guessing. When you have that two-man formation where everyone's on defense, everyone is a goal-scoring threat, and everyone is able to be in the mid-pitch, able to do the heavy work with demos and win challenges, it really makes you think, who's going to be the one on this counterattack? Who's going to be on the one on this drive? And the Eclipse have not been able to interpret that to guess correctly, and that's what they're leading, or that's what they're down by 4 goals with about 18 seconds to go in game one.
And now, with game number 2 on the horizon, the Eclipse, they need to find ways to break down this defense on a more consistent basis. Bit like that, as Emo will slot this one home off of a good pass from Fraud. If they're able to do this on a more consistent basis and take players from the Hive out of the game, they may find a way to take themselves to a close series here. But game 1 being a net loss for them, you've got to feel like this is just going to hit them hard, especially after such a dominant performance from the Hive, as they will now make it 6-2.
Yeah, you know what? Scoring 2 goals is great. You can't score 2 goals and concede 6. So the Eclipse have a lot of things they have to worry about and think about between games 1 and 2 if they have any shot of getting some games on the board here.
Yeah, they're going to get a 60-second pause as we get game 2 ready for you. And in the meantime, you've got to feel like they've got to pick something up. Their comms have to change. Their mentality has to change. They cannot allow the Hive to keep doing what they're doing. Fraud will get a save there at the end. That's the end of game number 1. It goes in favor of the Hive 6-2. A very dominant performance from a team that is looking like possibly the best in Champion League.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Hive are good. We knew that going in, and they showed it. That first half of the game was an absolute rout. The Eclipse got 2 on the board. They can go back to their comms and go, hey, look, we found a way to penetrate the defense. Let's keep doing that. But again, you can't win games if you can see that many goals. The Hive are still in the driver's seat despite the late goals for the Eclipse. Now it comes down to the Eclipse. How are they going to counteract that kind of 2-man option, that 2-man assault that Ben and M has been doing with his teammates? I don't know. I have no ideas because they've been absolutely unplayable. But I hope it happens soon because it may be an absolute slaughter.
Right now, one player to really take note of, possibly like one of the players we didn't expect to be performing as well as he has been so far in the series, is Andre, who has had an absolutely outstanding game number 1. There have been very few performances that have been that good out of the gate in a series, and now looking to try and keep that momentum going. Did not come in with any scream jitters, which in itself is an achievement, but now maybe looking to try and further his position as the new best player on this Hive's roster and maybe push the Hive to top of their division by a comfortable margin.
No stream jitters. I'm going to ask him his secret. Props to that, because a goal was, his first 2 goals were amazing. The third was just saying, I'm here and I'm here to stay.
Yeah, and with 5, I believe, to his name by the end of that game. We look now to game number 2. As the Hive will get us underway off that kickoff, the Eclipse will get the first attack, and they will get the first goal as Fraud buries that one home. The Hive caught napping on defense. A great goal for Fraud.
We talk about momentum. The Eclipse scored the last 2 goals in game 1, and they're first to score here. Will it be a permanent trend for them? Only time will tell, but for now, good goal. 1-0 Eclipse.
Not true. The Hive scored a 6th goal after the Eclipse scored their 2 at the end of that last game. So the momentum was actually with the Hive, and it was immediately shattered because, as I have mentioned to, I believe, one of the people in this game at some point when I was trying to prove a point to them, momentum is fickle, at which point I hit a ceiling shot. It was like biblical. It was biblical scenes, and right now the Eclipse are going to need a biblical scene if they are to take any games on a consistent basis away from this Hive roster. They are looking a little better this time. They're getting offensive pressure. An opportunity comes out there, but a good save from Andre. But both players committed on that ball. Both players forced now to rotate back. Limited boost. Good beat from Andre in the corner. Can't get it past Timor though, who now, with a little bit of boost in the tank, will pinch it out to the midfield, but that's not the sort of touch you want to be taking there. You want to try and control it. Fraud with a good beat there on the backboard to keep Andre away from that double tap. Now maybe looking for some offense of his own. If he had any boost to work with, Ben and M had him beat, and Fraud with no boost was forced to back all the way off. And now, despite that, the Eclipse find themselves going forward. Andre forced to chip that one away. A tee-up pass from Emor intercepted by Ben and M, and a counter-attack here for the Hive.
Love the fact that the Hive have just been going wide at their counterattacks, making sure there's some space in the maneuver in case the ball is not on the perfect first touch. That opens up scoring opportunities for them. So far, they've been able to capitalize. Even though they're down in game 2, I do think they put themselves in a good position to score.
Yeah, it feels like they're definitely getting the lion's share of possession and aggressive chances. But now the Eclipse coming forward. Fraud looking to tee that one off the backboard, looks for a bump, but Emor had backed all the way off. Andre with the squishy clearance away. Benenim's actually just missed that one in the air, teed up an opportunity maybe, but Andre again, good rotation back. It's felt so clean with their rotation so far of the Hive that they've not been able to be displaced, and Benenim will destroy both players to tie the game up.
Can I say how awesome it is Ema's waiting in goal just to make sure you can demo somebody if need be? But I guess it wasn't there to be not. The Hive get on the board. I'm not sure what he was planning on, but it didn't work out in his favor in what level.
Yeah, great goal there for Benenim to slot that one home. He has been the star man all season long for the Hive. He's been the reason they've looked so dominant alongside the rest of the roster, because it is a absolutely stacked Hive roster for Champion League this season. A good shot there though, will find the back of the net. Emor finding the angle there from the corner, and immediately the Eclipse take it back.
There's a bit of hesitation there from both sides of the Hive. Thought maybe it was a little bit going to be wide, but it was too late to get there in time. The Eclipse send it home 2-1.
Yeah, and that's Eclipse showing that they've got resilience here in this series after, again, such a very poor game number one from all parties involved for the Eclipse. Now looking like a much stronger outfit, but they just need to find a way to make sure those first touches count. Both double commit on defense there. Now both with no boost. Andre's shot is flat though and will allow a save from Fraud. Now Fraud, good. Attempt at a challenge there. Benenim dived in. Benenim now looking for the read. Almost finds the angle. The almost impossible angle where you have to hit it backwards across the goal. Almost found the shot but could not put it away. And the Eclipse allowed to get back on offense.
I love that play there. That's one of the shots you say, I'm going to go for it. If it goes in, I'm a genius. If it doesn't go in, I'll get one more shot. It's almost no risk or reward if it goes in. Why not go for it?
Yeah, and now Benenim teeing that one up in front of the net. Andre expected the touch from Fraud there, waited for it, didn't come, and was a little bit too slow to the ball as Emor was able to get the save, and then again off of Benenim's shot. Now, the Hive starting to mount some pressure, but Emor has boost. Will look to get it past Benenim, but great challenge from him though in his own half. Gets the bump onto Fraud, but it may have bumped him out of position. He wasn't able to get the touch he wanted. A shot at the far post. Emor perfect positioning on the rotation in to keep that one away. The Eclipse, they're maintaining their lead here. The defense is holding, and this is a much better performance than the one from game one.
We're seeing a lot more aggression from the Eclipse, and it's kind of frustrating the Hive right now. I'm not sure if they're going to recover in this game, but I love the fact the Eclipse are going for broke here. They're already down one game, and they want to get some more goals on the score to have some insurance. Why not, as we always say here, drop the shoulder and get some bumps?
Yeah, I mean, the physical playstyle has worked in taking out that chemistry. If you get a player out of it, there is no chemistry because you're not getting passing plays. Andre, though, will bait out the challenge from Fraud. Neither man will hit the ball, and it will fall to Emor. Trying to clear it out of his own half. Andre looking for the double touch, can't find it. Good clearance away from Emor, but Benenim was waiting in the midfield. Now, with limited boost, Fane's going up, baits out Fraud to clear it long down the field, but a poor touch from Andre will give the Eclipse some room here. Benenim almost demoed for his efforts by Fraud, but will get control of the possession. Sends it over top of one, but can't pass the other. A little passing play from the Eclipse to send that one deep into the Hive's half, but again, the shot slightly off target there from Emor, not able to find what could have easily been a goal to secure game number 2. 10 seconds to go. Can the Eclipse hold on, or will the Hive find a way to beat them? With that touch, I think Fraud will. Game number 2 will go to the Eclipse in the biggest swing since the 60s, we're going to go with.
I love the little mod reference. Look, man, this series is split, and it seemed like 2 different series happened. The Hive came in almost like as a traveling team, like the Harlem Globetrotters in the first game, starting all over the Eclipse. But this one, a little more ground and pound. Again, a little less elegant, but a win is a win when it comes to the Eclipse here because they're going against such a stronger team. They have a game. The Hive have a game. We are even after 2.
Yeah, and to think that the Eclipse had half the shots the Hive did in that game and took double as many. They took 2 goals from their 4 shots, the Hive 1 from 8. It isn't a great statistic for the Hive after Again, such a very impressive performance in game number 1, a performance that many of us believed we were about to see a repeat of coming into game number 2, but the Eclipse, they showed up, they got the early goal, and when they found themselves equalised and the Hive found their way back into it, they were able to get themselves back in front. That sort of resilience is going to be key to helping them come forward in this series and really improve as a roster going into the back half of this season now, with only this week and then 3 others remaining.
That's kind of the disadvantage here when it comes to the Hive of, and Andre's case of doing so well in game 1. Your opponent see that and try to shut you down. That's exactly what it did. So now if I'm the Hive, I'm going to switch my efforts over to Ben to make sure he has the service he needs to start making some goals and to confuse the defense just a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed touch there in the midfield from Fraud, but Ben not having too much boost himself will have to wait on the challenge. Emor diving in early, gets the attempted shot out, but Andre, that's beautiful placement from Andre, slotting it in between not only his teammate, but the defender. A great overall piece of play there from the Hive, and the Eclipse will find themselves hard done by that they didn't get a save there.
I can't fault Emor for trying, but just a little bit out of position, and he paid for it. 1-0, the Hive.
Exactly what the Hive needed to recover after what many would say should have been their game 2, but they couldn't find the shots when they needed to. Now they can. Emor, we're going to pass this one off the Fraud. We'll just take it past him instead. Has a bit of room. We'll look to pinch it, but not getting enough behind it. Fraud will tee that one up in front of the net. Andre will clear that one long down the field to the midfield point. Now going for another one. That one's teed up in front of the net. Emor going to be forced to make a touch away to the corner and will do so. Now Ben looking for a shot. Emor's there first will go. But a double commit there from the Eclipse, showing that maybe there isn't that same level of trust that the Hive have for one another between them. Andre looking to clear it away, doesn't get the touch, and Fraud will capitalise. The Eclipse immediately equalise.
The Eclipse are making sure that this series is not a swing deal. They get a goal on the board too. And now it's level. So if you're the Hive, man, what is going through your mind? You got to go back to game 1 strategy and get those goals coming in rapid succession.
Yeah, they've got to try and break down this this Eclipse defense that has looked a little shaky at times, but they always seem to have that rotation in order. Now Fraud, good 50 with Ben to keep that one off of target. Emor looking for the touch away off his own backball, can't find it. Great dive in front of the net to keep that one out. Fraud was not getting there. And now, Ben pass out to Andre. This is what they need to do, get that chemistry rolling. The bait from Ben but a great recovery drive from Emor to get back there to clear it away. Now getting on a counter-attacking opportunity, forcing a save out of Andre.
That was a costly back pass. Good thing I got to clear out just in time, or else we'd be talking about goals and goals and goals.
Now maybe Andre looking to go for something fancy. Emor just waits him out, knows he can be patient, gets a demo onto Ben. Absolutely brutal demo in the midfield. Now maybe looking for a shot is Fraud. He can't find a way past both defenders. Emor will, and he will find the back of the net. The Hive take a goal lead here in game number 3. Sorry, the Eclipse take a lead in game number 3. I'm so confused because I expect them to be orange and they're not, but colour schemes, am I right?
Yeah, color schemes are right. You know what? That was an awkward angle, and tried as we might, didn't work out for him there. But the Eclipse get that goal, and they're probably feeling good about themselves right now. They've suppressed the Hive assault that we saw in game 1.
Yeah, the momentum has officially swung. I'm saying it now. The Eclipse are in the driver's seat right now. You may have had a disappointing game 1, but that's in the past now, and they've changed the mentality completely. They are a much more positive roster than the one that came into game number 1, and now Fraud looking to try and carry this one away. Good 50 from Andre, will leave that one in the midfield. Ben will go for it. Good 50 with Fraud. It will go favourably for him, but a good challenge from Emor will send that one back into the Hive's half. Half the game gone. And the Hive trail once again, 2-1 to the Eclipse. Last time we were in this position, the Eclipse were able to hang on. But that is unfortunate from the defense, as Ben will put that one home off of a missed touch on the backboard from Fraud.
Yeah, costly error there. Fraud was there, and those are the ones you kind of like, go drats and doggone it the hardest. The ones where you're on target to clear it, didn't quite clear it the way you wanted to, and we're back level.
And it's one of those ones where he could have left it and it wouldn't have been on target, but he felt the need to make that touch on the backboard because of the threat that the Hive were putting on. And eventually, every defense is going to crack under some extraneous pressure, especially the level of pressure that the Hive have been putting on for nearly a game and a half here. Fraud looking for the goal here. Andre just trying to avoid a demo from Emo there as he was playing blocker on that ball. Shot wasn't on target though, and the Hive forced to backtrack. Looking for a little pass there. M now with a bit of control, bit of boost in his tank. Will look for the flick. Will get it. Far corner. No saving that. And the Hive take a lead.
Shout out to the big flick energy. Benham saw the goal, kept his eyebrows down, did not get distracted about Ema on the attack. There's your goal, 3-2 the Hive. Is maybe the comeback we're looking for?
I mean, they're leading. They have the comeback. This is the sort of offensive play that we were sort of waiting for from them. The ability to take a defender out of position, to dominate the other one to the point where they cannot make the save. And that is exactly how the Hive played game number 1 and how they are currently playing game number 3 here in this 5-match series. Remember, here at Minor League Esports, we do play all 5 games in a series regardless of the results of the previous ones. And that is mainly to incentivize playing every game to the best of your ability, because whilst the series may be over in 3, your season isn't over till that 5th game is played. And right now, the Hive, they've got a lot of work to do to keep the Eclipse behind them.
Yeah, you know, if you would have told me about this game in the future, we hopped in a time machine, I would say, oh, the Hive have all this time, but already down one game in the series that's split so far. They're trying to be a little bit more aggressive on their own right, because you're right, every game counts. The Eclipse are playing for playoff positions themselves. They're in the mid-table. Where the Hive, that top 5 teams, those top 3 teams, any team could be the future champion, so you can't drop games. I can see a little bit of aggression, a little bit of desperation, if you will, from both sides, but it's definitely the Hive series to lose. And let's see if it works out in their favor here.
Yeah, as Fraud now with 30 seconds left, we'll get the ball past one. We'll look to try and carry past Andre, but a good diving challenge from him. And a poor touch there from Emo will tee up Andre with an open net. The Hive will take a 2-goal lead, 22 seconds remaining. May have just sealed game number 3.
That's what you need. I know 2 goals in 20 seconds can be an eternity in Rocket League, but it makes you feel it's a little bit better about your control on the ball. Good job for the Hive here.
Yeah, it's exactly what they need to sort of calm the nerves, maybe the jitters after game number 2. Maybe we aren't as good as we showed in game number 1. Maybe the Eclipse just didn't turn up. Maybe they weren't ready. But now both teams are playing at their peak, and the Hive, they're showing that they're able and they're capable to beat this Eclipse roster. A demo there onto Fraud, and the save from Andre to clear it away will secure game number 3. The Hive, they take this one. Will they get a consolation goal on the 0 seconds? Yes, they will. Great pass from Andre to Ben. The Hive, they will take game number 3, 5-2. They go 2-1 up.
This is very interesting for the Hive. Look at their 2 wins. In game 1, they basically won. The Hive won in the Hive system. And in game 3, they won a game with the Eclipse system. Like we were saying, Benham has to be more of an up-for option because Andre has been shut down because his first game he was OP. And so far, I would say it looks good for the Hive, but they have to keep creative. They have to keep the Eclipse guessing. And if you're Eclipse props, you made the Hives change their whole game plan. Yeah, the game didn't work out in your favor, but you have a lot of leeway here to make sure game 4 goes your way. And only time will tell which one will come up on top.
Yeah, and the Eclipse, I feel like the difference between this game and last game is that the Hive were able to open up the defense on a more consistent basis. The Hive had 10 shots, the Eclipse had 7. They weren't as clinical going forward either. Still 2 goals, but this time with 3 extra shots, not finding the target as compared to their game 2 performance. And then, of course, on defense, they had 5 saves, but the 5 other shots from the Hive found the back of the net. That level of consistency of forcing a team to make saves when you're taking shots, that is the sort of consistency of a championship quality team. And right now, the Hive are looking very, very strong.
Strong isn't the half of it, right? Because it comes down to can you score? And I don't know what their plan's going to be going forward. But again, we said it before, it is their series to lose. So maybe strong is the word to describe this Hive squad.
And as we look to get game number 4 underway, the Eclipse, they need to win this to keep this series alive. But the Hive, they feel like they should have had it wrapped up by now. Will look to end this one in 4. Can they pull off a big victory here again? Or will the Eclipse keep it close, keep it scrappy, and maybe take this one to a Game 5 decider? Good start here for the Eclipse. Fraud will tee it up for Remor. Can't find the back of the net. No Bruce to work with, and Andre was very, very good there to get up to that and make the 50. M challenges early with Fraud. That one's going to roll off the ceiling. Fraud almost getting the read, but Andre will. Now a counter-attack perhaps to the Hive. M's touch is a little weak. He almost gets a reverse bump onto Emor. An opportunity for Andre to take a shot. That one's over the bar, but Benedem's isn't, and it's just wide instead. Now Benedem with a bit of boost, stealing it from the corner, goes to the double, can't get above it, and the Hive. A good opening burst of offense, but they're not able to find the back of the net. Yeah, maybe this will be the goal. No, it's off the bar and out. The Hive unlucky not to score the first goal in this game.
Yeah, the Hive has been pretty much clever in finding ways to score, but they just got to be better with their accuracy. They had 3 attempts on goal right now, and so far they're 0 for 3, judging by the score line. They got to tighten that up.
Yeah, now Fraud looking to try and control this one in the midfield. He has a bit of time. Ball laid off to Emo, who charged in there. Gets a shot away, but Andre is equal to it. And now Andre, with time, with boost, with space, gets the air dribble. But Fraud, great recovery drive to get back there and in front of that ball. M with a good 50 in the midfield will take it over both players. Now looking maybe to get an opportunity, but he's bumped away not once but twice by Emo. And Emo will demo Andre just to clear up any shadow of a doubt that the Eclipse were not in control of that ball. Now Emo looking for a bump onto Andre, can't find it. That one's off the crossbar and down. That was almost on target. A great little play there from Emo to force the the Hive player to make a challenge in a position he wasn't comfortable. Another opportunity for Emo. He's playing very aggressive right now. It can work out if you're finding the back of the net, but right now, both teams going 2 minutes without a goal. I believe this is the longest goalless drought we've had in this entire series.
Yeah, the operative word in Game 4 is uncomfortable. Both teams are kind of playing out of sorts, trying to find lanes that are being instantly shut down. Not a lot of space to work between the Hive and the Eclipse, and while it might be a defensive clinic for us watching in the booth, I'm sure frustration is setting in for both squads right now.
Good diving challenge there from Emo. He only has one to beat. He just has to put that one on target. He will do. Half the game gone, and finally we have a goal. It goes in favor of the Eclipse, and a great play from Emo.
He just tosses it like a ninja star. I love this one. From the top down, here's your first goal of the game at halftime in Game 4, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, after such a goal-fest of Game 3 and Game 1, and then, of course, that slightly more tense Game 2, that did have goals early on. This one is a complete shock to the system. In terms of what we expected coming in. Benedem, though, good read there in the midfield. We'll look to try and get the Hive back onto some offensive pressure here. Emo taking his time now. Instead of going aggressive, we'll just try and play patient. Hasn't got any boost. Benedem now with a bit of time, looking for the double tap. We'll find it. We'll send it home. The Hive equalize. 2 minutes to go.
This goal here was an absolute display of intelligence from Benedem, getting himself down right in front of his defender to an open net because his defender went too far ahead. 1-1 left. That might be the most pivotal goal in this game.
Yeah, that could be the tide turner if ever a tide turner could have happened live on stream. Now Fraud looking for the flick. He'll get it over the top. Benedem cannot keep it out. The Eclipse immediately take their lead right back.
We'll call one of those shots 2 touch to the temple and a biscuit. Look at this. Well, top of the crossbar, it taps down. An own goal officially, but Fraud gets the credit. 2-1 the Eclipse.
Yeah, and right now, the Hive, they have to find another goal. This is the same situation they were in game number 2. They couldn't find that goal to equalize when they were 2-1 down. Now, they have to find a way to break down the defense like they have done so many times already. There's a demo play onto Fraud, but Emo is still there. Benedem not able to find a shot. Now Andre, minute and a half left on the clock, but only 20 boost in the tank will get it round Fraud. Absolutely beautiful play from him to bait out the challenge. Benedem will slot it home. It's a tie game, minute and a half to go.
What a fantastic way to tie. This here is going right to left. Almost like 2 cars on the commute to work. Benedem with the score.
Yeah, and right now, I am thinking that the Eclipse are going to be struggling to find their way back into this game because Benedem is starting to heat up on offense. There's his hat trick, and the Hive, they're looking back to their old glory here.
Yep, Benedem has decided he's going to be the option, and how. That is 2 goals back to back, and the Hive in the driver's seat. Like we said before, the way the frenetic pace has been going with this series, they need another one quickly to get themselves a little bit of insurance.
Now, maybe another goal there, but Fraud, good diving challenge. The Eclipse need to find one to get themselves in this series. That one's teed up in front of the net. Emo's there, will find the target. This game has opened up a lot since that half-time period. It's been 1:15 and we've had 6 goals, sorry, not 16 goals. We've had 6 goals, and it feels like this game just sort of, the floodgates have opened on defense. Both teams are just going all out.
Yeah, it's a war of attrition here because everyone's looking to get those 2 goals ahead, like I was saying, because the propensity for goals that happen in the blink of an eye or so quickly, you got to make sure you score often, and that's what both teams are doing right now. What is defense, Fallen? What is defense?
Well, defense is when you try and keep the ball out of your own net by blocking the shots of the team trying to put it in your net. Right now, it's something that you're seeing Emo do, but a good 50 there from Andre almost gets it past him. Luckily for him, Fraud had rotated back. Good 50 there from Fraud to beat out Ben and M. Doesn't get the boost steal though, and Andre will have time, will have boost. Does he have patience? No, he doesn't even have the touch. That's Ben and M's ball to clear away, and the Hive will somehow survive there. Just tense there on the defense. 30 seconds to go. Neither team wanting to make a mistake, but both definitely on edge.
This might be a goal right here. Line up on the silver platter, but cleared away. That was close.
And now maybe a counter-attack for the Eclipse. Emo almost finding a way past Andre. Now a good pass to the middle from Fraud, but Beninem is there and equal to it. Now looking to try and clear this one away himself. He tees it up in the midfield. Andre's up. That one's on target. Good save from Fraud and tees it into his own corner. And now we'll let it run down. It's a 3-3 overtime here at game number 4. The Eclipse needed to keep the series alive. The Hive looking to end this series at 4 with this final goal. Can they pull it off? I'm going to leave that one up to you to decide, Navanta. Who's taking this game?
This is one of the worst situations to be in if you're the Hive. The longer these exchanges go on, the more they benefit the Eclipse. So if I'm the Hive, you got to score as quick as possible because the Eclipse have a lot more stamina when it comes to that midfield pitch.
Yeah, now maybe a passing opportunity. That one almost finds its way past Ben and M. And a good recovery drive there from Andre to send it into his own corner. Now looking to control it. Doesn't find the touch, but it's only cleared away from Emor. Now an opportunity for a counter-attack from the Hive. Ben and M will tee that one up high. He'll go up for the second touch. He'll find it. Dunking the living hell out of Emor. I believe it's Emor. Yes, it was. Finding the back of the net and taking game number 4 to secure the series for the Hive.
You got to get in, get out, and head on to the next town out of Farmstead. That's exactly what the Hive did.
Yeah, and now, with the series secured, the Hive, they can sort of relax a little bit. They can breathe easy. It hasn't been an easy run, especially after that game number 1 dominance where you thought it would be easy for them. Now, they look set to take a dominant position in this series, and we know for a fact that at least one of our predictions is going to be right.
True. Losing the series has been absolutely embarrassing, so props to the Hive for getting secured. But now you're fighting for a position in those top teams in that table. That Champion League table is feisty. And if you're the Hive, you want to be on top. You were number 1 in the power rankings at 1 point or multiple points this season. You want to go back to the promised land. You got to secure wins like this when it can game 5.
And to give a little bit of context to the ones who didn't hear it at the beginning or in the intermission between Series 1 and 2 today, me and Navanta had a little bit of a placing of bets of who would win. We both said the Hive. I said 4-1. You said 3-2.
Correct. I like the way the Eclipse have been playing. They found ways to wear down, you know?
I do, but at the same time now, momentum has swapped completely back in favor of the Hive. They've taken 2 games in a row. They are now secured in the series. Unless the Eclipse pull out something very new that we haven't seen, I don't think they've got enough in the tank to get a game off of the Hive again.
Well, you said it yourself. Relaxing a bit may be a mistake with a team as unique and unpredictable as the Eclipse.
And there's an early opportunity for the Hive immediately, forcing a defensive clear away from Fraud and then from Emor. The Hive trying to get those early goals. It's something that we've seen. They are very quick. They're quite punchy on offense. They're not necessarily the sort to break you down over an extended piece of aggressive play. No, they're the sort that will just launch a shot at you, try and break you down off the first touch, and then score with the second. And there was an opportunity for them to do so, but Andre couldn't find the back of the net. Beninem now looking to clear this one down the field, but Emor, great cut in there, getting the touch. but just too patient there. It feels like they're respecting the touches of the Hive now more so than they were in the previous games. It's almost like in their mind, they know now how good this team is. And despite the series being over, and despite the fact that there is still a game to play here, they're respecting them a little too much to really take any real offensive liberties.
That may be an option, or maybe try to wait and see if you can poke a hole in their attack. But you're right. Either way, they should be a little bit more aggressive than they're playing right now, because you can't wait and see as someone punches you in the face. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's been just sucker punch after sucker punch from the Hive all series long. Was the Eclipse wanted to slug it out in the corner. They wanted to get up close and personal and play that clinch game. The Hive have just been wanting to wait, sort of hang back on the ropes, Muhammad Ali style, just sort of waiting for them to make that punch. I love how we always go back to boxing whenever we do these references, because it's the easiest one to do. They've been sort of waiting on the ropes, biding their time until, bang, they take a shot, and immediately, one punch KO, the Eclipse are out of the series. But right now, the Eclipse, they've got to find a way to get this game more scrappy. They've got to find a way to get goals here, and Fraud being on defense this pretty much this entire half of this game hasn't been good enough to get them a goal.
Yeah, no goals on the board right now, but it's fun that you're saying about boxing, and it's true. I mean, it's very easy to write this game off as car soccer, but there's so much things that come into positioning, to footwork, to teamwork in this case, it's even the psychological part of it. It really is a complex game. The Eclipse have to get more aggressive, open up some shots in their favor, because the Hives are no slouch. But at the same time, if you're the Hives, you must be looking at yourself going, 2.5 minutes and not one score against this team we beat the series in? What is wrong with us? There's something we have to work on after this game.
Yeah, and really, it's not for a lack of trying. They are opening up the defense. They've just been able to get back in time. Not this time, however, as Andre will slot that one home. It took a little longer than it did last game, but the Hive have found the opening goal here, and they are looking to secure a 4-1 victory in this series.
Even if that goal on target was kind of like one of those like tentative goals I make in Foundation League, like please go in. So, I don't know.
Here comes Fraud now, though, with a bit of boost, bit of momentum. Looking for the air dribble. He'll just find it in the back of the net. No defender there to stop him. A very nice goal for Fraud. I think there was a bump in the midfield from the two Hive players that took them out of the
Happy birthday, Pele. What was that?
Just basically a walk-in from Fraud. And immediately the Eclipse are back in this game.
I love the fact that their goals are coming now tit for tat. Again, for a long period of time, no one was scoring, but as soon as you Hive break the seal, you got Eclipse there with a goal of their own. And maybe that's why I give them the edge in this game.
Yeah, they're sort of... It's almost like they're playing reactionary to the Hive. And whilst that doesn't always work, we've seen it in Pro League teams do that style of play before, where they sit back, they let the offense roll in. When they concede, they then just break out all of a sudden and sort of shock their opponents with this blinding display of great offensive capabilities. However, the Eclipse, they've sort of fell back into their own half a little bit here. Emor will now look to try and dribble this one along the wall. Flips early, trying to land and get in front of Ben and M, but he can't. And the Hive will send it back into the Eclipse's half, maybe looking for a shot of their own. That one's teed up in front of the net, but Andre playing passive. He doesn't want to get caught out again. This time, we'll stay back and make sure that the Eclipse don't get a quick counter-attacking goal.
Yeah, I love the fact that Andre decided to be a little bit more intelligent, hang back. He has a lot less to lose. I mean, the team has already won the series. And I got to say, though, the props to his intelligence to do that tells me that he is that vital to that Hive squad. I want to see more of him after this week.
Absolutely, and now with an opportunity, Andre and Fraud can't find the target, with the target being the ball in this case, and Beninem now forced to clear this one away. That one's on target. Oh, what a save from Emor to keep it out. I sounded like the Champions Field commentator then. What a save! Keeps it out, but Andre with a doozy dish will send it home and send the Hive to a 2-1 lead.
I like how you want to say them after you score. You're toxic, bro. No,
I'm not toxic.
Andre there.
I'm not toxic.
Up 2-1.
It was unfortunate timing is what it was. All right. Not my fault that the Hive are really good at scoring goals when I asked them not to for the sake of my own integrity. Right now, though, the Eclipse, they have to find another goal, but this is what they're good at. They're good at finding a goal when they've just gone behind. Can they do it in 20 seconds is the question. Emor tees that one up into the midfield. He'll be the first one there. No, M cuts him off immediately. That one falling off the backboard. Fraud will clear it long, but Andre's waiting at the back. Can Fraud beat out Andre? No, he can't. That ball now floating out to Emor, but a good 50 from Andre. And that may just have secured game number 5 for the Hive. The Eclipse get one last chance. Fraud can't keep it up, and the bumper away from M in the backfield will secure the series 4-1 for the Hive. I was correct.
You were correct, man, but the Hive didn't do it in a way that was becoming of the Hive. They have a lot of questions they want to answer to when they push the playoffs, but maybe I'm just salty that I didn't win our little discussion, that little bet there.
Yeah, I feel like disregarding game number 1, which was the only real game that didn't fit into the same sort of theme of this whole series, it was really down to that one goal that opened the floodgates in every game, bar the first one because that was a one-sided affair. Yeah. It has been an incredible display of just offensive, defensive capabilities from both teams, and a great showing for the Eclipse, even in a 4-1 loss.
See, the thing is about these teams in each league, there's a salary cap, so you can argue that there's ever some sort of level of parity. So everyone mechanically has a skill. The differences between the teams that are good, great, and mediocre are those psychological things. How do you respond to being down 1 goal, 2 goal, 3 goal? How do you recover when your half flip goes awry? And that is what the Hive excelled at. They are just been so quick on their attacks and their counterattacks. There's no reason why they're elite. No pun intended.
And as we look forward to the rest of the series tonight, I will be leaving it as well with Navanta. I am Z-Fallen apparently. But before we go, quick snippet as to what to expect. We have 2 Master League matches over here on MLE Esports GG2. We have the Aviators and the Hurricanes coming up for you after the intermission, and then after that the Rhinos and the Pandas. But before we jump to an intermission, we do have the Play of the Weeks for week number 7. Navanta, I know you're hyped to see these because they're amazing. The plays have been absolutely phenomenal this season. We thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't go anywhere because we've got some great series coming up after this short intermission.